My husband and I have been married for just less than 1 year. We've been together for 7 years. We have children from previous relationships. He has 3, 15-year-old boy, 13-year-old boy, and 12-year-old girl. I have 1, 8-year-old boy. My son lives with us full-time. His daughter spends every other weekend with us, and his 2 sons live with their mom in a different state. A little background. When we first got together, his kids were obviously much younger, and my son was a baby. I pushed and asked for a relationship with his kids and their mothers, but eventually stopped pursuing the idea, as it seemed as I was the only one interested in the possibility. Fast forward to now. The kids are much older, and I have 0 relationship with their mothers. The boys have the same mom, his daughter has a different mother, and barely a relationship with his kids. I'm not hostile or negative, it's just not there. I'm pretty much invisible. It's not ideal, but it could be a lot worse. In our home, I'm the breadwinner. It's always been that way. I'm fortunate to have a great job, extremely supportive parents, and a very privileged upbringing. My paychecks pay 80% of our bills and all of our household living expenses, trips, and extras. My parents are extremely involved with my son, and he spends plenty of nights and weekends with them. We have a great relationship, and the life my son has is nothing short of a blessing. Here's where the problem comes in. Because we got married, I was expected to provide for the 3 other kids at the same level I provide for my son. This is coming from parents who have never made an effort to get to know me, my family, or be involved in our lives at any point, despite my attempts to do so. At first, the request started off small, and I was inclined to think that this may be the start of relationship building, so I obliged. And then it exploded. I was expected to pay their way for summer vacations, summer camps, new laptops, TVs, video games, sports team fees, and equipment. You name it, I've been asked. I finally put my foot down, as my family is planning a reunion trip, and I was expected to plan the dates around his kids' availability and finance the trip, about $1,300 each. I said no, it was not pretty. This year, and every year for back to school, my husband was tasked with buying the back to school supplies. Not a problem, I encouraged it. He provides financially for the kids through child support, weekly allowance, and whatever else comes up. I've never had a problem with the money or with him providing for them, never. The difference this year, all the kids want designer shoes and bags, and are looking to me to make the purchase, and I don't want to. In summary, am I the a-hole for not wanting to provide the same lifestyle for my husband's kids as I provide for mine based on the information above? Not the a-hole. It is your husband's and each of the mother's duty to provide for their respective children. Anything you choose to do is a bonus and a gift, but don't feel obligated to do anything you don't want. They are the a-holes for treating you as a wallet instead of taking advantage of the chance they had to have another loving adult in their lives. Not the a-hole. Petty me would tell your husband that if he has that expectation, then the costs of the household will have to be revisited, and he will need to increase his contributions to 50-50. Not the a-hole. His kids are his responsibility financially, not yours. Your money has nothing to do with them in the least bit. It's nice you want to help, but these other moms have no right to guilt you into providing for kids you had no part in making. If your husband already pays child support, that is all they are entitled to. Don't let these vultures use you as a meal ticket, especially since you and Dad don't even get visits with them. How can anyone possibly believe this is okay? I'm 25 female, due this summer for my first child. Due to virus, I'm only allowed 1 person in the delivery room when I give birth. Normally this would be the father, but he doesn't want to be in the child's life, and I've accepted that. So now here's my dilemma. I moved into my dad's and her house before I found out about pregnancy. My mom lives in another province. My stepmom lost her only child 20+ years ago due to her being too premature. She was never even supposed to be able to have any. Ever since she found out I'm pregnant, she's been over the moon, talking about how this is her second chance to finally get to raise a child, and that she's so happy. I'm happy for her. I really am. And grateful for all the help she can give me. But when the topic came up about delivery and how I can only have 1 person, my dad brought up her being the person. I was a little weirded out, being that I have only known her for about 3 years. I told my dad that I already talked to my mom about coming and being the one in the room. Seeing as she doesn't live in the province and won't really be there for the child growing up, I figured it would be fair, right? If anyone is going to be seeing my bits, I'd kind of rather someone that's already seen them, you know? But my dad's been sulking a little. Not saying anything to me, but I know my dad. I just want to know, am I being unreasonable? She's gonna be there for everything else in the child's life. I'm living in their house, it's not like she's missing anything. And my mom would only see the baby for the delivery, and nothing else. We're not financially well off, she can't just visit whenever. But I'm having second thoughts now because of hormones, and I'm wondering if I'm being an a-hole. Please let me know if I am. Not the a-hole, but also the second chance to raise a child line sets off alarm bells for me. If you're able to, I would try to find another place to live. That's oddly territorial for a step-grandmother and a woman you've known for 3 years. I just want to add this for clarity after reading some comments. My stepmom is perfectly fine with my decision, and she's a wonderful lady. It's my dad that's moody and sulky with me right now. And no, I don't think she's going to go mental and think that my baby is hers. She knows I'm the mom. She's just very happy to be able to do all the things she missed out on. Change diapers, go for walks, pick out clothes. And I'm okay with that. I'm happy to give her the things that she missed out on. I don't mind in the slightest. She does the same thing to me, goes shopping for me, takes me to get hair and nails done, etc. I will be moving out in a few years, and she knows this. She's just happy to get the baby time she couldn't get with her daughter. Again, I think the a-hole here is my dad. Not the a-hole. It's your delivery, your choice. It's great that your stepmom wants to be involved in the child's life, but it's good to start establishing boundaries now, because she sounds like all the mother-in-laws on Just No Mother-in-Law that call their grandchildren my baby. Not the a-hole. You want your mom there. Your mom. Don't know why anyone would even question that. You shouldn't even have to explain yourself, because again, that's your mom. Update. So, things worked out pretty well. My mom wasn't able to be at the birth due to some health issues on her end, and she was mad at me for not traveling to her to have my baby there. Honestly, the greatest thing I ever did was staying put. I can't even describe how helpful my stepmom has been with my little one. I know a lot of people were concerned that she wanted to take my baby, but I can thankfully tell you that's the furthest thing from the truth. She's never overstepped as Nana. My father and her actually listen to me as a parent and haven't interfered with my parenting. They listen to what I put down for ground rules and have been the greatest support in my and my daughter's life. All I really hear from my mom is guilt trips that she missed her only granddaughter's birth and that I was selfish for not traveling to her, which is turning into the greatest thing I could have done. It's saving my butt in court. The child's father has really gone off the deep end and is trying to take me to court for full custody. Considering that he lives in a whole other province, she was born here. He has never really been in her life and didn't even pay child support until she was 6 months old. My lawyer told me he isn't getting it. So yeah, that's what's been going on in my life since my last post. Hope you enjoyed. I have recently gotten into an ugly fight with my sister over our mother's jewelry collection. She passed away a few years ago and had a pretty big collection my dad said must have been worth around 30 to 40K. When my mom passed, my sister took all of her jewelry and has had it in her apartment ever since. At the time, I didn't think that much about it, but now I've been dating someone for a year and it's gotten really serious, and I intend on marrying her one day. I know some of the pieces would suit my girlfriend really well, specifically the pearl jewelry, which I know she would love, and it bothers me that my sister just took the entire collection without thinking maybe I would want to give some of the stuff to my future wife or daughters. My mother didn't have a will, so there is nothing to refer to in terms of legal agreement. However, I was always much closer to my mom, and my sister was a lot closer to my dad. I finally decided to talk to my sister about it and asked her if she took all of our mom's jewelry, and she said yes. So I asked her if I could have a few pieces to give to my girlfriend one day when we get engaged or married. She immediately said no and said it was all hers and that she couldn't believe I would even ask. We ended up getting into a really heated argument about it, and I reminded her that we both had the same mother. I was always closer to my mom growing up, and that I didn't have anything of hers to hold on to or pass on to my own family. I also said I wasn't asking for the whole collection, or even to split it 50-50. I just wanted a few pieces, specifically the pearl jewelry. Her argument was basically that she was the daughter, and jewelry goes to the daughter, not the son, and that she's not going to give any of her family jewelry to a girlfriend that probably won't even last. She told me I was disgusting for even asking, and my girlfriend has absolutely no right to it. She kicked me out of her apartment, and a few hours later, I'm getting text messages from family members asking me why my girlfriend thinks she's entitled to my sister's jewelry. To clarify, I don't think my girlfriend is entitled, and she hasn't asked. She doesn't even know about it. I think I am entitled to at least a few of the things in what was probably a 30-piece collection. I was way closer to my mom, and I don't think it's uncommon for men to give their future wives or daughters family jewelry. My dad waded in and took my sister's side, and they are all making it sound like my girlfriend is demanding my mom's jewelry out of my sister's hands. Everyone is saying I don't have the right to ask my sister to give her stuff to my girlfriend, but I just don't see it as my sister's belongings. And again, I don't want everything. I specifically want 5 pieces, but I would settle for 3. I've never seen my sister wear our mother's pearls to anything, so it's not like she's attached to them. So am I the a-hole for asking her to give me some of our mom's jewelry? Yes, the a-hole, for continuing to pursue this. You asked nicely, and your sister said no, and it should end there. The time to have discussed what you're entitled to was when the property was distributed, not years later. Totally agree. You wasn't pissed about it before. Why are you now? If they meant so much to you, then you should have asked a long time ago. I'm sure there are other things of your mom's you can have, but the jewelry is your sister's because she already claimed it. And you don't want it for yourself. You want it for your girlfriend. Your girlfriend never met your mother and is in no way entitled to that jewelry, and it's wrong for you to take it away from your sister years later because you think your girlfriend needs it. It would never be cherished by your girlfriend the way your sister cherishes it. Just to be the devil's advocate, if your father had died years ago, leaving behind expensive tool sets, you take them, because at the time your sister didn't really see to want them. But now she's dating a wood craftsman for over a year, and he would love to use some of those tools. But they are irreplaceable or one-of-a-kind tools, even though she's entitled to at least half the tools. Do you want some guy she's only been with a year to use them, possibly lose or break? My sister-in-law used to be an addict with no stable job and trapped in toxic relationships, till she got pregnant 2 years ago, but ended up miscarrying because of her unhinged behavior, which left her a mark on her. Since then, she turned her life around, accepted to get help for her addiction, and she's clean and has a stable income. However, there's still one problem with her. She still mourns her lost pregnancy almost every time we see her, which I understood initially, as it would be a pretty big trauma for everyone. But it's been years since then, and her pity parties already got pretty old. Especially, and I know I might sound cynical, when her lost pregnancy was what made her turn her life around for the better. Fast forward, I, 28 female, got pregnant with my husband of 3 years, 29 male, and yesterday we made a gender reveal party for our families. It's a boy, by the way. His sister was of course there, and not long after the reveal, she started to reminisce about how much she'd wanted to become a mother as well, and how much she got affected by her pregnancy. I quickly got sick of this, as not only she was once again pulling this stunt, but she was doing it at my gender reveal in order to get all the attention on her. And so I told her that she should reconsider her miscarriage as a blessing in disguise, as it finally gave her the help she needed to turn her life around. She looked shocked at me, and then asked me if I seriously think that her miscarriage was a good thing. I told her that considering back then she was an addict who was changing her jobs and partners faster than sockets, with a father who wasn't in the picture. At least that's what she told us. But knowing her past lifestyle, I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't even know who the father was and was too embarrassed to tell us. It's probably for the better that the child wasn't brought into the world in these conditions. After that, she, together with my parents-in-law, started blowing off at me, telling me that just because I like empathy doesn't mean I get to reduce her trauma to a good thing. My husband intervened and finally managed to calm them down, and the party ended abruptly. After everyone left, my husband took me aside and told me that what I said was really out of line, and my pregnancy hormones aren't an excuse to act so unhinged. That made me blew off at him, telling him to cut the misogynistic crap about pregnant women being out of control, as there was nothing unhinged about what I said to his sister. It was just the rational truth, and if he wants to see unhinged behavior, he should look no further than his own family. He got too ashamed to say anything else after that, and I made him sleep on the couch, so I wouldn't need to hear any more BS coming from his mouth. Am I the a-hole? Yes, the a-hole. There's nothing misogynistic about calling out inappropriate behavior when you see it. You could have got up and walked away and refilled your drink, or greeted other guests, etc., when she started to talk about her loss during your party. But you chose to be unkind. I hope to God that this is just hormones and not your natural disposition to be so unkind. I hope you don't teach your son to tell people that their pregnant loss is a blessing. Yes, the a-hole. Pro tip. Never tell someone that something they feel to be tragic is a blessing in disguise. And talk about unhinged. You made your baby genital reveal party about your sister-in-law's past personal issues. Sister-in-law was kind of a jerk to bring up her miscarriage at your event too, but you're a piece of work.